Hi, what's going on, people? Getting the Toad podcast, episode 4, after 6 months. 6 months I haven't done a podcast for because, I've been telling this that, look, I've been really, really busy. Really busy, of course, with stuff that I don't know what to mention because it's a bit personal. But look, I'm back again after 6 months, getting the Toad podcast episode 4 with my good friend, Ty Cuthbert, which is an absolute amazing carter, good at his craft, good at what he does. But yeah, first of all, how when we get to video, how you doing, mate?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good man. Of course, on this Getting the Toe podcast, we're going to be going over Formula One, sim racing, just racing news in general. Because, of course, I know you're a Newcastle fan, but your main priority is, of course, racing. Your that's your passion. It's your passion. But look, first off, I want to talk about which you don't want me mentioning the Williams thing, do you?
Um, well, at the moment, I'm not old enough to be in professional esports at that level.
Yeah,
So I guess just getting as much time on the sim as I can on obviously what's going to be F1 24 in about two,
yeah,
3 weeks time. So when that comes out, just getting as much laps as I can in for that. And then just trying to see if I can try and get around any esports team what's in F1. Obviously, at the moment, I'm with Quatermass Motorsport
yeah,
on R Factor 2 and a set of course Competizione. Um, but going to the F1 side of it, so maybe as we've seen, I went to Goodwood last year, went on the Williams sim, and two of their esports drivers seen the pace that I had. And I think I was at the end of the day, I was like second or third. So obviously there'll be more experienced people, but yeah,
yeah.
just getting as much time as I can on the sim, and just seeing where that takes me. See if I've got enough of the pace to become an F1 esports driver, even if it's still lower ranks. Not as high as Jarno Otmir or Brendan Lee,
Yeah.
um, but trying to make my way up that ladder because you can win some serious money from esports. So,
Mm.
at my age, if I was getting, winning money off esports, it would be an incredible start to life.
Yeah, definitely, man. Because there's some people that I'm not going to say poor, but less fortunate than others. You know what it is about Formula One. Formula One is basically it can be a pipe dream. It's
Yeah.
so expensive to go into. I think the best thing that you know is to get into racing is probably like Janetta Juniors, GT cars. That's probably like the main way to get in there. Janetta Juniors I'm a really big fan of. Been Brands Hatch, Donington Park. I love the Janetta Juniors. The Porsche Cup's also good as well. But Janetta Juniors is like the one that you want to be usually aiming for as a go-karters or young karter because Formula One it's a lot of money to get into. But yeah, I completely agree with you, Ty, because the future is online, social media, simulator. I regret it the most. Anne had a wheel in about 6, 7 months. But I'm getting a new one and I really want to get back on my sim again, man. It's just not being away from the sim for that long. It's torturing for me, man. It's absolutely torturing. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, Ty. Esports is definitely the future. Um, and look, even though you don't want to say if you're not going to make it to like really top level esports, you're still in the esports, and it's better off just to start while you're young and build your way up. Just keep playing the game, keep working, keep studying online how to get better at the game. Um, and yeah, that's the main part about it, man. But yeah, I got not really a lot to talk about in this video. Of course, I really want to get into the Formula One side of things. Of course, you got Emilia Romagna coming up. But I'm going to tell you a bit of what happened on my side. Recently had a race. Of course, I don't want to talk about your races, of course. We know all that. But I recently had a race recently because, of course, I compete in the Thursday night league of Daytona. Really, what I hate about this rental car, I don't know why. I don't know how if you get the same problem. Um, Sometimes some cars can be responsive, some cars can be slow responsive.
Yeah.
How was your experience with that, man? I've had a terrible experience with these rental cars.
It's weird because some rental karting places you do go, you'll have a cart where it's fine. It's there's no issues with it at all. Then you'll get a cart where it's got a bent steering column. It's down on power. the tyres are gone, the kart feels just really loose. And you think, well, if I'm putting money towards it, why should I put money towards something that's not reliable and you don't know what you're gonna expect compared to where you've got your own driver karting? You know what you're gonna expect because either you or the team maintains the kart, while with rental karts, they're made to go for a long distance.
Yeah. Yeah, because usually, yeah, with having your own go kart, usually the best, really, because if there's a fault with it or anything like that, um, if you know what you're doing, you can fix that, you know. But with rental karting, it's just an absolute nightmare because at the first 4 rounds of the Thursday night league, finished all with podiums. I was pretty happy with myself. I was being consistent, you know, first 4 races, all podiums. But now, all of a sudden, Daytona, not going down on Daytona, but Daytona, the car that they're giving me, because it's randomized picked, right? They can't
Yeah.
really do nothing about that. It's randomized. So this is not me putting down Daytona. I love the place. I've been going there for quite some time. I love it, right? But yeah, those carts sometimes, man. There was one time where I was in the cart. I think just a normal ride and drive, really. There was some junior cars that had a really, really straight steering angle, but some car that had a bent steering angle, and I was like, come on. And then I changed the car again. Then they gave me a even worse car with bad acceleration, bad straight line speed. You know, I even tried the human DRS method, did not work. You know, people still blasted me on the straight. But yeah, that's me. That's me. Absolutely done with rental karting. I still do rental karting, you know, because you know that's the more cheaper way. Because of me, I'm not one of these people with like lots and lots of money. You know, because having your own go kart, you don't really need lots of money for your own go kart, but it requires a lot of saving. But with me, I'm trying to do it like the other way, like team sport. You know, when you have them Club 100 qualifiers, that's a really, really good way of getting in there as well. Of course, I know you do team sport and all that as well.
Yeah.
But that's a really, really good way to get in. But enough of me rambling. Let's get onto of course, Formula One, which you know your favorite driver is Perez. Great driver, Sergio Perez. He's doing really, really good in that. What do you think? How good do you think he's doing in that Red Bull? He's doing great in that Red Bull, isn't he?
I think the mentality has gone into this year is being totally different to the last season. You know, at the start of last season, he had his head together and he was, you know, I've got a chance of winning this. Then, you know, out of the blue, it kind of just started to slip slightly. But I think over the course of the last year and a half, he's been preparing mentally and physically to go, right, 2024 is going to be my year where I'll do what I want to do, you know, pace wise. And I think he showed that already. You know, he's been on level with Max all season. You know, you've not seen a massive difference. So I
Yeah,
think he's doing well with his consistency, and I think you know he's only just getting started. Obviously, he's been with Red Bull since 2021, but you know 2022 was a massive regulation changes. So I think that now he's starting to get together and say, you know, I can take the fight to Max. You know, I have got the car. Um, so we'll see. Obviously McLaren and Ferrari they're starting to come alive. Mercedes, I'm not too sure what's going on with them. To be fair, they're up and
yeah,
down.
no, mate.
But I think McLaren and Ferrari are going to be the next challengers for Red Bull, as we've seen at Miami with Lando Norris, you know, just storming away from Max Verstappen. I think McLaren have done something good to their car tyres wise because the gap Norris managed to pull on Checo was, you know, incredible. Um, I think by the end of the race it was 8 seconds between Max and Lando. Um, so yeah, I think McLaren and Ferrari are starting to get there, but
Yeah.
Checo's definitely on level with Max, and let's hope he can take the fight to him and maybe challenge for the championship.
Yeah, because look, Perez. If you think about it, let me do a quick look at the drivers' standings. I think the drivers' stand. I think Checo is sitting in second position. I think he's
Yeah,
sitting
he is.
Yeah, he's in second position. Maxi on 136 points. Perez on 103 points, and where is my driver Lewis Hamilton? 27 points. You know that's just an absolute disastrous. Mercedes are having absolute disastrous for the season. Red Bull's having a good season. You know they have an absolute machine under that car. But look, I think the title is going to be really, really close. You know, of course, Lando Norris winning his first race. Of course, he's only got 83 points. He's not quite yet in triple digits, but Lando Norris winning that race, credit to him, man. You know, he absolutely deserves it. He's been in Formula One for ages. And look, before I ask you about what I think about the McLaren, what you think about the McLaren, I'm going to say what I think about the McLaren. I think the McLaren is probably one of the top futures for Formula One. I really think they can adapt it. I just have this feeling that McLaren's going to adapt, because if you see like that, Red Bull is still an absolute amazing car. It's a beast of a car, no doubt about that. But usually when, of course, a new regulation came in and Red Bull had the absolute domination of season, 2021, 2022, first three corners, the 1 second ahead, 2 seconds ahead, first three corners. But now it seems like that, you know, teams are starting to like figure out. I think Red Bull, if you stick them on Spa, say Belgium for an example, I think they'll blow the pack away, in my opinion, because it's a power circuit, straight. But usually when you get these like wiggly circuits like Miami, Monaco, Baku for an example, right? Them wiggly tracks, that's where other teams can counter. Like Miami, it's not really a power track. You got the main straight. It's only got two straights that I know of, like 2 or 3 straights, something like that. But the rest of the turns are just bend, hairpins, bend. It's like a karting track. You know, that's what I think. Like drivers like Lewis Hamilton, for an example, like Hungary. He really likes Hungary because it's like a karting track. It's got twisty bits. That's the kind of thing I like. But what I think about McLaren overall, I think they can do really good this season. I really think they can bag another win. You know, Piastri, Lando Norris, what a driver line that is. But enough for me. Ty, what do you think about McLaren? Because they're doing really good.
I think since the second half of last year, they've been threatening. You know, Qatar Sprint last year, Piastri got his first win. It might not be a full race win, but it's still a race win. It's still counted as one. I think McLaren, they've got 2022 put them back a lot, and they've slowly but surely got to where they need to be. And I think, you know, by the end of the season, they will be challenging Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez. You know, Ferrari, they're getting there too. It's kind of like Red Bull took that big leap. Everyone kind of dropped. And then slowly Red Bull have just been going closer and closer to getting faster. But then all of a sudden they've kind of like stopped, and then the teams have just come and, you know, kind of revived their state. So I think this season is going to be a lot closer than it has been for the last 2 seasons. I think McLaren have got a lot more pace. You know, with the tyre management that the car delivers to them, I think that's a big sign. You know, seeing Norris just pull away from Verstappen, I think that kind of opened Red Bull's eyes of, hold on a second, what are they doing differently that we're not? So I think McLaren are definitely getting to where they need to be winning wise. I think their driver lineup's incredible, and it should stay that way for the next 3 seasons. By the end of that, I think McLaren will be a championship winning team. But with obviously the big news, Adrian Newey leaving, Red Bull might not be as dominant, because we all know Adrian Newey's brought Red Bull to success. But I think Red Bull will kind of maintain that dominance, but not be as dominant as they have been.
Yeah, you know, Red Bull's still got a machine, but it takes some time, some teams to figure out, you know, what they're actually doing, how to improve the car. McLaren is finding that out, because usually when Red Bull is like in front or behind, it's like, say you got Max starting in 5th place, he's not going to last there for long. You know, a couple of laps he'll be on the top, because you know how Red Bull is. They have extra kilometers or miles per hour, however you want to call it, on the DRS zone. They've got the fastest DRS, right? So now that DRS hits, the car's lethal. The car's fast anyway, but soon as the DRS hits, it's lethal, right? and there's no catching that Red Bull. But you know what I think about the Red Bull as well. What I say about the Red Bull, that they can struggle in dirty air. They can sometimes struggle in dirty air because when they're out in front, there's no catching them, right? But when they have to chase, like if they have no DRS and they have dirty air in front of them, say doing a DRS train, it's gonna. For me, I think Red Bull sometimes struggle in dirty air. I don't know about you, but it seems like McLaren now is unlocking that pace of the car. So one thing before we move on, because I really want to talk about this Adrian Newey thing as well, because that's what I'm really interested about. That he's going Ferrari or Aston Martin, whatever team. But yeah, where do you think Red Bull can improve? Of course, we're not all pro engineers here. We know our stuff about racing, but we're not pro mechanics, and we're not going to suggest the mechanics, what to do. But I'm just going to ask you a simple question: do you think Red Bull struggles in dirty air?
I think they've kind of built their car in a way that they kind of expect the car to be at the front, so they don't expect to be fifth, sixth, battling. They kind of build a car where it's fast enough to, by the time they get to the pit stops, to know, right, we've got a gap where we can go to second or third, where it's going to be one car, 10-second gap, then another car. I think they've kind of focused on that element of just pace, pace, pace. And
Yeah,
as you said, as soon as they hit that dirty air, they're kind of like, well, hold on, we're struggling a bit here.
yeah,
Um, and example for Miami, when Checo was in the midfield battling, he was struggling because of the
yeah,
dirty air. And you're seeing the Hamilton and Magnussen battle and the Sonoda, that mid pack. They weren't struggling. They were all following each other comfortably. Where going into the next corner, they could lunge each other. While with the Red Bull, it seems like they lose like a tenth or two through a few corners, and then they get to the straight, and then they build it back up, and then they lose it. So I think, obviously, as you said, we're not all pro engineers. We can't go running to Red Bull saying, you need to change this and this and
yeah,
this. But I think one thing they could look to is making that car more reliable in the dirty air type situation. And again, that will make it even more dominant. But going back to what you said about the DRS, at Miami, I didn't think that was quite powerful because we
yeah,
seen Checo behind, I think it was Piastri, and every lap he had DRS, but by the time he got to the end of the straight, he wasn't overtaking him. And obviously, Piastri would have saved his overtake and used it. But I think that the Red Bull, they didn't use as much flap as they normally do for the DRS, because I know you can change the degrees by a certain angle in the regulations. So I definitely think that the DRS wasn't as powerful, but yeah, the Red Bull car in the dirt, yeah, isn't the strongest.
yeah. And one thing to mention, because I've got a lot to talk about Formula One, man. My head was all clued up. But what was I going to say? I forget. I forgot what I was going to say now. Let's just move on to Adrian Newey. Of course, rumors that he's going to Ferrari. Ferrari looks like the big team. The big rumor that's going out. That Ferrari could be the team for the future. Getting Adrian Newey. What probably one of the best car manufacturers, if not the best car manufacturer in Formula One. And what he's done with Red Bull is just immense. What he's done to win Red Bull and constructors title, which they've been looking for since 2013. He won on that. Adrian Newey is great at what he does. Great what he's done with the Red Bull car. Allowing the drivers, to drive that kind of car. It's amazing what he does. Now him leaving Red Bull, just like that, it was an absolute shot for me. It was a shot for me leaving Red Bull. But Red Bull is gonna have a loss. I still think Red Bull can have a good car and be, title contenders. They're gonna be title contenders, obviously. They're one of the top 3 teams on the grid. But, having Adrian Newey leaving and could be going to Ferrari, where Lewis Hamilton is going. Yeah, I think he can do some stuff for that Ferrari. So, yeah, what's your what is your opinions on Adrian Newey leaving? Was it a shock to you?
It was a big shock because it was one of those where it was really unexpected. It was like as something broke down in the team. Um, but as you said, everyone's been hearing different rumours about him going to Williams, McLaren, Ferrari. Um, it will be interesting. I think he might want to take a step away because he's been in this since the 90s, helping Williams and Red Bull. So no doubt he will be tired from it, and he probably does want a break, but he will want to return, like Sebastian Vettel said in his retirement video. I'm not gone. I'm only gone for the time spend time with my kids and my family. Um, so I think that Adrian Newey will take a step back, maybe even if it's for a season or two. But in that meantime, he can be saying to, I don't know, whoever he's going to sign for, do this to the car, design it like that, do that
Yeah,
on the aero, giving them pointers. So then when he does come, they'll have a car where it is like Red Bull, where they can just go out and dominate.
yeah. It's like I think Red Bull, like I said, I'm gonna go back on my sentences. Red Bull can still be a championship contender car, but they won't be as fast as what Adrian Newey made that car as it is now. But since the big rumours about Ferrari or Aston Martin or Williams, something like you just said now, Williams, Aston Martin, um, I think he wants to go to a team that he knows are going to win titles there. He wants to go to a team with prestige. Of course, Williams is prestige. Williams is an absolute prestige name. Formula One, the old Nigel Mansell days back in the day. Williams is a prestige team, and also Ferrari. But Williams, I know, can be up and down on some seasons. Some seasons can be up, some seasons can be down. This season hadn't really had a great season, really. Of course, Logan Sargent is, in my opinion, I think underperforming for Williams at the moment. Of course, I think Williams. I think one Grand Prix in Williams. I forgot what Grand Prix it was. Is where Albon crashed the car, but then then Williams said Albon can drive Logan Sargent's car, which I think
That
it
was
was a bit.
Australia.
Yeah, thanks for that, mate. Look, because I think that's a bit of disrespect from Williams. Kicking Logan Sargent out of his own car and sticking Albon in there. I just think that's a statement saying he's either leaving or there's some stuff going backstage. We don't know. We're just fans. We're just fans. We go to the races. We sit in the grandstand or we sit around, watch the race. That's what we are. We're fans, right? We're not like in the team. I wish I was. I damn you wish you was, but
Yeah.
we're not exactly there. We're fans. But looking at a fan's point of view, my opinion on it that I think Williams is trying to kick out Sargent, if you know what I'm saying. But that's just in my view. But yeah, look, Ferrari, of course, the big candidate. Adrian Newey. Oh, he's going to do some big things with that team. If he does go there, when I say if, I mean if. 'Cause I don't want to contradict myself and saying I knew he was going to go there. If he goes to Ferrari, and I think he's going to go to Ferrari, he's going to do really good there. If he can do that at Red Bull, an absolute top car, if he can do that at Red Bull, he can do that for Ferrari. And they're going to have a really, really good driver pair. They're going to have Lewis Hamilton, which he had plenty rivalries in the past. Of course, Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel. It was an absolutely amazing rivalry. Now going to Ferrari, which is a team he rivaled with, Adrian Newey maybe going there. It's going to be a good fight. Where do you think Ferrari sets up for the future?
I think if Adrian Newey does go to Ferrari, we'll see the 2000 to early 2000s, mid 2000s Ferrari team back where you had Alonso and Massa dominating. You had Massa and Raikkonen. Um, I think the experience of Hamilton, obviously being in the sport since 2007, and the young head of Charles Leclerc, I think that pair will be really strong alongside Adrian Newey. I think that will be another team. I think the teams to watch out for the future to compete with Red Bull is Ferrari and McLaren. Alpine, Kick Sauber, Haas, and Williams. They're like the
Ty,
But
I
I
think
definitely think that Hamilton, Leclerc, and Newey would be.
Yeah, Ty, I think
Have I gone?
while you're explaining, I think you throw that for a little bit. I
Oh,
think you did freeze out. So briefly go on what you said because I don't think the audience heard it.
so I was saying I don't know when it cut off. So I was saying that the experienced head of Hamilton and the young head of Leclerc, I think that with Adrian Newey will really help them become a massive success team. Um, but I think it'll be.
Yeah, your connection really struggling, mate. I don't. Yeah, your connection is struggling a bit, but you're basically saying about the experience of Hamilton going into the team. It's gonna really help the team. Yeah, connection's all right now. I don't know if it's my end or your end. I don't know. But probably from my end because I've got absolute internet from my end. But it is what it is. It's internet. Anything can go wrong. But what am I worried about the internet? We're supposed to be talking about Formula One. But look, of course, experience from Hamilton is going to go to Ferrari. Of course, Leclerc. He's a seasoned veteran. Leclerc. He's been there for quite some time now. Of course, joining from Ferrari Academy from Alfa Romeo, going into Ferrari. He knows what he's doing, right? He's been in Formula One for quite some time. But Hamilton going there, the absolute veteran of the sport. Um, seven-time champion. Some say 8, which is understandable. I think he's 8, but I'm just going to say 7. 7-time champion. He's got a race win record. He's done it all, Hamilton, and I really think he will go there and win titles. Not so win titles, but I think he's gonna win more races. He's gonna win more podiums because the Mercedes situation at the minute is not going good. Me from Mercedes fan, Hamilton fan. It's not going good. Hamilton's just stopped finishing 7th, 8th, and 9th. Russell finishing about that as well. Even though to set the car up for qualifying, really, I think Mercedes should set the car up for qualifying. Not for the race because race anything can happen. Could be a DRS train, dirty air. But I really think they should focus on their positioning because usually they can get the strategy right, but they still finish 7th, 8th, and 9th. But yeah, Mercedes are not really in a good position. Now I'm just going to read on the driver standings of the Formula One, driver standings of constructors, because this is the podcast where we talk about sim racing, but if something's big going on in Formula One, we'll report it on here. It's either every week or every 2 weeks, this podcast. Not necessarily every week, could be an odd week, I could be busy, but it's most of the time going to be every 2 weeks. If you're happy with that, Ty, every 2 weeks on a Friday.
Yeah, we'll see what happens because obviously with my mocks for school coming up,
Yeah.
it's a big step. But yeah, we'll be able to fit something in, every 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, that's all right, Ty. If you got stuff going on in your life, not really like that, but if you got stuff going on, just let me know, and I don't mind putting it forward to another date. You is you,
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I'm gonna name out the constructors' standings and the drivers' standings, and we're gonna talk for maybe I'm gonna say people subscribe to the channel, and then we might wrap it up there. Since we're going on for about half an hour now. But yeah, I love the conversation about us, talking about Formula One. I absolutely love it, man. Because we both watch the sport, and why not just talk about it on the podcast? But look, 2024 constructor standings. We've got Red Bull 239 points, Ferrari 187 points, McLaren 124, Mercedes 64. I don't know what's going on over there. Aston Martin 5th, 6th. The RB Honda. It's kind of like the Red Bull, really, but it's called the RB Honda.
Yeah.
Hard Ferrari 7, Alpine 1, and Williams have up. You got Williams, no point yet to be scored, and Sauber yet to be scored. I thought Williams scored a point because Williams has got. I say a decent car, but then they lose out in the race, you know. But look, that's the constructor standings. That's the constructor standing done and dusted. Now let's go on to the driver standings. I might just name out the top 10 drivers because I don't want to go through the whole 20. Because there is about 5 drivers who yet to score a point, so there's no need to name all of them. But you got Matt Verstappen on top, 136 points, championship leader. Sergio Perez second, 103 points. He's not that far off, you know. You know, Ty. He's not that far off of Verstappen. When we said this last year about you could win the championship, he could definitely be in the winning championship. You know,
He's
of
still
course,
in contention. There's
yeah,
nothing stopping him.
yeah. Look, Perez is in a good position. You know, it was a good position last year, but then Red Bull turned the priority, in my opinion, to Max, and that's why Perez had to play like second fiddle to Max. But I think this year you can see that Perez doesn't really want to, you know, play second driver to Max. You know, you want to go for that time. I don't blame him. Charles Leclerc third, Norris fourth, fifth Sainz, sixth Piastri, seventh Russell, eighth Alonso, ninth Lewis, and 10th Tsunoda. So before we wrap up, because we've got 85 people watching in the house. You know, 85 people watching on Twitter. That's absolutely amazing. You know, that's absolutely amazing. I am absolutely, you know, flabbergasted at what's going on. But look, 86 people watching. You know, thanks everyone for joining. You know, if you want more regular content like this, of course, it's going to be regular. But if you want, you know, us and Ty talking about Formula One, you know, sim racing, everything in the racing world, this is the podcast and this is the channel for you. Of course, I got my other sections for football, you know, because I do both sports, football, Formula One, and of course my games. And of course, F124 content, or maybe F123 content will be coming out on the channel since I'm going to get myself into a little, you know, league racing going on. I'm going to join a league, like not any old league, but a proper league, like say, what's that pro esports league that everyone goes in? PSGL, maybe.
Yeah.
I might go in one of the divisions of that because I really want to improve my craft. And yeah, we'll just hit the 90th watcher. So yeah, look, thanks everyone for joining. This is me. You got anything else to tie before we wrap up?
I would just like to say a few shout outs first of all. Thank you to Minus273 for exclusively giving me their new sim gloves.
Nice.
So you know, really good padding on the front, really good gripness for your wheel. I'd like to say a massive shout out to Race Sim and Camus. You know, mega supporters and sponsors. So thank you to them. Obviously, Camus for the wheel they sent on my birthday. Very kind of them. You know, brilliant wheel. You know, first affordable direct drive wheel you could say compared to Fanatec or Moser or SimiCube. Really good quality. So definitely worth checking Camus out. But yeah, just thank you to all my supporters, all my Mexican supporters too. We got my Twitter counter back, or X as it's called now, which I'm really grateful for. So I don't lose all my Mexican supporters, which is really nice, and they can still see the progress and the journey that I'm going to go on in the future. So keep tuned, because there are very big announcements coming soon, regards to my racing. So just keep your eyes peeled for that on my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We'll be doing some videos about real world racing too. But thank you to everyone who supported me, and thank you for the podcast. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, so it's been 6 months since we've done one, you know. I think it's time goes so fast these days, man. We just got to get straight on it. Let's just get on the podcast and let's start talk racing, man, because that's basically all we know. Of course, you know, both sport football teams, but racing is the one that, you know, I'm more. I say I'm clued up on both sports, but that's the one I'm like, it is my passion. I drive karts in real life. It is my passion. I just want to talk about it and just, you know, let it all out. But look, thanks, Ty, for joining. We've got 95 people in the house. You know, guys, if you want to go check out the YouTube, the reason why I'm smiling because I haven't had this much views on this stream in my absolute life. But I thank, you know, the only person to thank is you, Ty. Thanks, Ty, for coming on here. Thanks for, you know, getting all your friends on here. I love the loyalty, how you say to your Mexican friends, Absolutely love the loyalty. You know, of course, we've got the socials at the bottom. Of course, you got your Twitter social at Ty Cuthbert. Go support that, you know, because he had some problems with his Twitter account. He's finally back on. He's finally got his supporters back on there. He's finally got everything and all that there. Everything's fixed. Of course, you got mine as well. But the main man of the show is Ty Cuthbert because he's my guest. But if you do want to go, shout me a follow at TotoHammer44. That's on my Twitter. But look, thanks Ty for joining. Thanks 95 people for joining. Show the love and support. Show the love and support on Ty's Twitter. Show the love and support on both, especially Ty. Go show all the support to him because, you know, we're both drivers. We both want to make it into the pro league, not pro esports. We both want to make it into some type of racing. So, yeah, I'm glad everyone joined today. It was an absolutely amazing conversation, Ty Cuthbert, about Formula One. Very, very knowledgeable. Know you about your stuff, you know, and I love it, man. Absolutely love it. But look, see you later, guys. Toto Hammer. I'll see you in the next podcast. See you later, Ty. Have a nice one.
Bye. Thank you.